minute, hot minute. I've made many videos in my head since I talked to you last time. Many. Never recorded them. Just all stuck up in here. And then the moment passed and I did something else and forgot all about it. So, here I am. I had lunch with my dad and went to Buff City Soap. Spent a little bit more money than I expected. Today is my husband's birthday. He is 44. 44. My birthday's coming up and I'll be 45. 40 old. Yeah. I know that I was going to continue to talk about legacy, building a legacy. One of the things, actually, that might not be considered legacy would be emotional maturity. I know in a lot of families, emotions are scary and they don't get translated well, and there's essentially 2, 3, maybe 4 emotions that are shown to the children. Sad, mad, possibly joy, happy. About those 3 consistent. And a lot of the stuff that we feel gets covered up in mad. I would actually say probably at least 70% of it. And in some cases, up from there. With some people that I've met in the past, don't feel comfortable showing anything but anger. I had met a vet before that didn't even know when he was hungry. He was just always angry. But emotional, having an emotional vocabulary and teaching children what to do about it can be part of our legacy too. Can. Because everybody on this planet that is alive started out as children. The scary part in child development is that they actually make a child makes a concrete determination on their entire environment and the way the world works by a very young, scary age. I hear a siren. Oh, there it is. It's an ambulance. It's the same ambulance that came from my mom. So, the scary age is 3 years old. 3-year-old sees their parents as perfect and unwavering and knowing everything, and what happens to them from their parents, they must have deserved it for some odd reason. Let me give you some psychobabble real quick. For anybody that's new to my videos, I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. I do specialize in substance use issues, couples therapy, vet issues, not PTSD, but issues that relate to the way that the vet interacts with family members. Okay, I am a licensed therapist. I really am. This is my renewal year. I'm doing that. I'm licensed in Texas and California. And my channel started the day after my mom's unexpected death, June 8th. If you ever go back to the videos where I was eating barbecue, that was the intention of my very first video. That was the last time I saw my mom alive. It was a week before she died. And then the next video is me very scared, trying to figure out how I'm going to be helping people while I'm trying to figure out how to help myself. So it's been it's been a real big learning curve for me this last year. So anyway, going back to the emotional recognition legacy. The reason people find themselves more mad than anything, even when they're not actually mad, they're really sad, frustrated, overwhelmed. What in the world is they doing? That is not a stop. You're going to cause an accident. Is because mad is a smokescreen and it is a defense mechanism. If you find yourself dealing with more emotions of anger than anything else in your entire life, if you wake up in the same mood that you go to bed in, same mood, you might have only been exposed to being angry. I know the older generations treated kids like they were little adults. It's not necessarily the way. It's just not. They're not little adults. They don't know how to cope. Children are not as resilient as parents think that they are. Mainly because they haven't had experiences to continue to reaffirm themselves that they need to be resilient. Do they forget? Yes. Is that confused with resiliency? Possibly, but that doesn't mean they're resilient. What they are, what kids are, is egocentric. Truly. They do feel like if there's something that's wrong, that they caused it. And if you think of anything in your entire life that you thought that everything around you had a reason for happening and you just didn't know why, that was you, in your experience, in the way your brain was developing, that was the egocentricity. And I do have a very vivid memory for myself of me being 4 years old and feeling like the world was created on my birthday. In a certain way, it actually was. Because that's when I was aware of the world. It doesn't mean Venice was created on my birthday in 1981. No, dear. No. Venice has been around for centuries, okay? Like, that did not happen. But kids can't understand that. They can't. So, when we start off as children, we don't question why. Why are they doing this? We can ask, but then in the answer, based on how the person, their parent responds, we will feel responsible for that response. So kids feel responsibility even when they are not directly responsible. There's nothing that they did. Nothing. If parents are fighting and over a topic, let's say money, the kid's gonna feel responsible because they need money. They got fed today. They need clothes. Well, I'll help with the money when if I didn't ask, if I didn't need something, I wouldn't be the reason. And that's just how egocentricity is. It doesn't mean that the child is doing anything wrong. It doesn't mean that the parent's doing anything wrong. However, if you're raising children at this point, little kids, you can let them know that they are not responsible for what's going on. My daughter does this. She's 9 years old. And I know one day she'll watch this video. She's heard me complain and yell about, money and how expensive something is. My husband and I went round and round last summer because I was leaving my full-time job. I was losing my benefits. And I was the one holding the health insurance. So I was looking at health insurance through the marketplace and found out that it's truly, really out of our price range. And she came up to me after that conversation I had with my husband, and she goes, "Here's my $10. I said, "What's this for?" "This is to help with health insurance." I said, "Babe, I don't want your money. I don't need your money. I don't." And then I gave her a little bit more information that she wasn't aware of. And this is what I told her. I told her that she's not the reason we need expensive health insurance. If my husband ever watches this video, he knows that he's the reason we need expensive health insurance. He's got some very pricey medications. Travis, if you're off of these medications, I really appreciate that. I do. I really do. You've put in a lot of effort. And you've changed a lot of things. You've done a lot of good work. But at that point, that work wasn't done yet, and she was feeling very responsible. So I told her that there were things that happened that caused things to happen now, choices that were made that caused health to not be the greatest today, that didn't involve her at all. And she was like, "Really?" Yes. This doesn't involve you. You don't cost a lot of money for health insurance. You don't. You do your physical, we get your boosters, we do an occasional strep test because you keep licking doorknobs. She knows this. I love you, Bebish. And but she wasn't the reason. I'm not the reason. But at that point, we were looking at some pretty pricey health insurance. We have figured it out since then, and we don't pay that much. And it all worked out. However, kids don't see that. They don't know the backstory of why. So if you're raising kids, just give them a little bit of some age-appropriate information to assure them that they're not responsible. And that can be passed down through generations. Having that experience of understanding emotions means that the kid is not going to grow up feeling emotionally spun out, essentially. They're not going to feel like they were the worst thing that's ever happened to their family. And oh my God, like my parents wouldn't have split up. And oh my goodness, things would have turned out better if I didn't ask for soccer shoes. No. If the family's going to fall apart because of soccer shoes, they're already in really deep shit, dear. That's not your problem. So, as an adult, if you're an adult trying to figure out all these emotional hang-ups, then you can do a couple things. If you're trying to understand emotionally why things happen the way they happened and why we're responding in an angry manner, remind yourself that anger is an iceberg. And the stuff that we see for this iceberg is on the top. We show anger out of a defense mechanism only. I actually am this is what I tell people too in therapy, I tell them, I don't think anger is actually real. I don't. Anger for anger's sake is not anger. It's not real. What it is it's hiding something. So if you look at the anger iceberg, you see this part on top, right? And that looks really big because the water is right here. What you're not seeing is the enormity of this. You know, you see this, but then what's actually going on is down here. And it is fucking huge. Huge. Childhood anxiety, feeling inadequate, feeling overwhelmed, embarrassed, hungry, tired. What does it have to do with anger? Nothing. Nothing. But in their family, where they were raised, all they saw was anger. That's it. That's it. That's all they saw. And so, little kids don't question, they take and move on, and then they're angry. Now you're dealing with an angry vet who doesn't even know when he's fucking hungry. Anyway. So, emotional understanding will do wonders for yourself, for your family, for the generations God don't even know yet. Because if we respond different, instead of responding out of anger initially, we think about what we're actually feeling, what it really is down here. And then we choose a different response so it doesn't come out angry. If it does come out angry, accept the shit that comes out of your mouth. Apologize to your child or to the person. Apologize to yourself. We all have an inner child. Write that inner child a letter and tell them what was really going on in the family. Untangle those knots that parents tied them all up in. Because that little inner child does not have any idea. They were not involved and they were not responsible. That's why people get hung up. And if you really want to give your family a really wonderful legacy, then the verbal encyclopedia of emotions, and then having your kids see you do something else. And I'm guilty of this. I was dealing with hot pasta last night, trying to separate noodles so they didn't cook together, and then they were all clumpy and hard. My 9-year-old, she gets excited and talks a lot. Again, I love you, babish. And she was talking and talking, and I was dealing with these noodles in boiling water with my bare fingers, holding them up with a spoon, and then peeling apart with my fingers. And it was hot, and it was getting hotter, and she kept talking, and I just went, shut up! I was like, oh, stop! Shut up! What do you want? Okay, we're all just people. My head hurt. And, God, my neck is throbbing. My head is throbbing right now. I have to take some medicine. But I apologized. I told her, first of all, that's all I said. She went, okay. And I said, can you give me a fork? So I did my noodle thing, peeled them apart with a fork. And then I said, I'm sorry for snapping at you. And It's okay. And I thought to myself, no, it's not. Because it's not. It's not. You know, and we can lose our shit sometimes. We do. Forgive yourself. Let's do it better tomorrow. Let's do it. Next time you show up, that situation comes by, you're feeling overwhelmed, then decide to pause, take a breath. You have to breathe, okay? If you're going to work on this as an adult and you're going to start to untangle some of these emotional knots that were given to you before you do anything, don't say it. Take a breath from your diaphragm. Expand your belly. Breathe in. Do it a couple of times. Get some good air. Get some good air in your body. And then respond calmly. Even if you want to say something different, you want to do something different, and you know your default, that is emotional legacy. The hard part about understanding and vocalizing the anger iceberg is the possibilities of being hurt with that information, which is why people hide it under anger. So, there is a possibility, which makes us uncomfortable, of knowing that information and exposing that information to someone else. The other part of doing something different with an emotional legacy is to be comfortable being uncomfortable. This will be uncomfortable. Exposing the fact that we are people and make mistakes and need to say sorry to your child can be uncomfortable because the previous generations saw that as weakness. They would rather saw off their pinky finger than ever announce that they were wrong. Were they wrong? Fuck yeah, they were wrong. Every adult who becomes a parent's making shit up on the fly. Don't fucking bullshit me. Oh my god. You have no idea what you're doing and you know it. I have no fucking idea what I'm doing and I know this. And I tell my kids. So, that will be different. It will be uncomfortable. But I can tell you right now that hard work will make your grandchildren more aware of the fact that they are not entirely responsible for the crap that happens around them. And that is really good work. That will move mountains, because can you imagine the kind of shit that an adult doesn't have to deal with if they knew that they didn't have to deal with it? Every time one of my kids ever thought that they were responsible for something, I would give them a little bit of the backstory, age appropriately. You know, I'm yelling at the mail. This thing keeps bothering me. It doesn't involve them at all. And I didn't get that. I got a passive-aggressive mother who would slam doors and never say a fucking word. So I had to untangle all that shit when I was 18 years old. I had to learn that I wasn't responsible. You could just start now. So, I'm gonna get the mail because I've been sitting on the street for a while and I don't want to be parked in front of my car, my house. My husband wondering what the fuck I'm doing in my car. Overall, after my mom's anniversary of her death, I've been doing actually pretty good. I think it wasn't this weekend, it was last weekend. I had a really difficult day. because I went down to Magnolia with my daughter and I had a bouquet, a centerpiece made for our table at Magnolia, and it was Super Bowl Sunday, and I don't know, I really love this. It's kind of silly, but I missed her in her saying and recognizing how pretty it was. So, that was her. But, it is very pretty though. It's very pretty. But other than that, that was the difficult part, which came out in an angry way for me. And I had to try to emotionally unravel it. And when I figured it out, then I was able to respond differently with my family and children, and especially my spouse. Because if there's one person that I really do take it out on, it's him. Doesn't mean I'm a therapist at home. Yeah, I am just a human at home with regular people problems. So, you have homework. Do the shit. Tell your kids. Write yourself a letter. Recognize what you're responsible for and what you're not responsible for. And if you're not responsible for it, drop it back off on the fucking author who gave it to you. Give it back to them. You can confirm with yourself that you are not responsible for holding on to the baggage that they gave you. Which then they looked at you and wondered, why you have baggage? What is wrong with you? I don't understand. Really? Because the kid can't figure that out. They don't think the parent did anything wrong. Yeah, they did stuff wrong. And it's okay to put that down somewhere, either write it out and burn a letter, forgive them. You can work through it internally, you can work through it in therapy. But through radical forgiveness, that essentially means that you're not going to hold on to their baggage anymore. That you're going to recognize what you are personally responsible for and what you are not responsible for. And when you're not responsible for the baggage they gave you, the problems they gave you, the expectations and the emotional knots that they never cared to explain. You can work it out in therapy, but ultimately realizing that you are valuable and you don't need to carry their crap around anymore. Mentally give it back. Give yourself the freedom and the forgiveness to be happy. I work through that shit with people. Sometimes it takes a while. But, there you go. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope your Valentine's Day was awesome. I'm going to World Springs tomorrow. Hopefully getting a massage over there too. I need to work my neck out again. I can't guarantee what I'm going to post. I don't know. Once in a while I get all pity party-ish and go, nobody's going to care, nobody watches, nobody... And it's just like, I'm not doing this for people to view it. I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing this for this. I'm doing this because my kids are going to see these videos when I'm dead, and they'll always remember my voice, and they'll always remember that their mom cusses like a fucking sailor. I cuss in therapy too. trust me. Oh, the second somebody drops the F-bomb, I'm just like, me and the word fuck are best friends. I don't know what you're fighting about. Because I don't have any problem with it. And then they just let their hair down and let it all out. Let's go. But if you spent time in 30 and a half minutes with me, I do appreciate it. And working on legacy, so our family has something to hold on to. It's very important. The stuff that needs to be worked on that I'm not good at is finances. I'm okay, but I really love to spend money. And I spend money I don't have. To an extent. But that's not today's discussion. So, if that's something that you need to work on, figure out a plan on getting those things taken care of. Because leaving people money so that they don't have to beg on a corner to bury your ass will be really good. That'll be really good. That'll go far too. So have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later.